Calling all card fighters. We welcome you to the Dojo, a Card Fighters podcast. Starting now.
You know, that never gets old, honestly. What's up, guys? My name is Nara Samurai, and welcome to the Dojo, a Card Fighters podcast. And we actually have our MIA member, the number one missing member of our team, who has gone missing for a good while. We thought we would never find you. Well, welcome, Connor Sintra.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So, Connor, can you please tell me, where have you been? You've been missing. You've been gone. You're, fifth or sixth member of the team? I lost count already.
Mainly, I've just been hanging out with my family a lot, of course. I've had some stuff come up.
Yeah, fixing it.
But I have also, while I've been gone, been theory crafting a little bit, getting ready for the Ramada tournament coming up next month.
Yep.
I think I'm going to be ready to go.
And to anyone's curious, the Ramada tournament is a Orlando, Florida, or Kissimmee, Florida event held by Kingslayer Cards. Used to be GPG, now they became Kingslayer Cards. And they are running cash tournaments. It's fair to say that, right?
Yeah.
It's
There's
pretty,
some prizing, but it's mostly cash.
So standard is the 1K tournament, and then premium is $500, not $500K.
Yeah. And I believe for the people that play Digimon, they're also having Digimon on Sunday with premium.
Yes. So Digimon's also has an opportunity with premium going on at the same time. I actually want to see if the premium event gets bigger because I want it to be, a 1K tournament and things like that. And if anyone's curious, I'm going to be commentating the event, not the whole event, but the majority of it. And I have a bunch of guest commentators coming in as well, some from Team Eclipse and as well as people you may have known from the community online and all that. So that's going to be a very fun opportunity to see. But going on for the Ramada event, the title of this episode, I don't know why I can't speak English today, is Wizards and Ninjas, because those were our most recent reveals.
Yeah.
One thing we did forgot to mention is the new lyrical set, but the new lyrical set, I have nothing to say about the new lyrical set. Did you get your stand triggers? Sorry, did you get your fronts, your crits, or your draws?
Yeah.
You're good to go. Got what you need from lyrical.
Pretty much.
They introduced two new keywords, right?
Yeah.
So we got the new powerful as well as friends. I think friends was the one that was very similar to melody.
Friends is the one that's like very similar to the harmony.
Harmony or melody?
Harmony.
Oh, okay.
It plays a lot like the melody deck from what I've seen, but in keyword relation, I think it's very close to harmony.
So I think that's going to be an interesting thing for Lyrical to have. Where I find Lyrical kind of like awkward is that it's so separated from the other nations. So it's not a Stoicheia card. So you can't run any of the Lyrical cards in a Stoicheia deck other than...
This is pretty much just a whole bunch of Bermuda support. Yep. And then what confused me the most about this set is with all the new support they had, they didn't print a single Earnest Correct for the Clarissa deck.
So you bring that up, and I think that's kind of funny because that's like the only Lyrical deck I play. Mind you guys, I am not, and I probably will lose like future viewers for this, right? I do not like Bermuda Triangle. Now, I think it's a clan that's worth mentioning because it's very good at topping and has all these things? Of course, right? The one thing I just don't like about it is the aesthetic. I'm more of that guy that has a bunch of like robots, dragons, and weird mythical beings that shouldn't exist.
That's fair enough.
And steampunk, which is filled in with Gear Chronicle.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to go from all these big giant monsters to liking Little Mermaid girls.
Yes. But I did have to pick up the Clarissa deck just because it reminded me of the OG Narukami clan. Not the OG, but during Legion, we got Brawlers. And Clarissa is Brawlers.
Yeah.
It attacks multiple units at the same time, not just the front row like Vermilion. I can choose those units, attack them. Brawlers were so good. Bushy Road, if you're hearing me, I know you're streaming right next door. Please bring back Brawlers. Please. But don't put it now. Give it to me where you can give me like 5 of those cards all at once. All right. I want to be able to build it quick. I don't have to wait for like 3 V clan selections.
Honestly, just wait for Frankie's birthday. It'd be a good birthday present.
Oh, bro, yeah, October 14th, you got me, right? You got me? All right, thank you. So, going in with the title, we did get a new wizard for Luard. It's generic. You can run it in both Claret Sword, more than both. Claret Sword, Revengers, or Luard. You can't run it in Revengers because Revengers is very Revenger specific, except for Mordred Phantom.
Yeah, for the most part.
But very good Luard card. We got Origin Mage. Eldana? Eldana?
I have no clue.
Aldana? Yes, Eldana. All right, there we go. We got our guy in the back telling us how to say it. Thank you. We're going to get that Justice phone we talked about in episode 6 or 5. We'll make sure to pick it up. 5 or 6. It's 1 or 2. So it's continuous. Deck or drop. This card gets grade -2, so it's a grade 1 in your deck or in your drop zone. Act. Hand. If your Vanguard is grade 1, cost. Discard this card from your hand. Reveal 10 cards from the top of your deck. If you reveal 2 or more grade 1 cards, choose a grade 2 or greater card from among them, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Well, that's a good way to G-assist before G-assist.
Yeah.
Vanguard Rearguard Circle, auto. When this unit attacks, counterblast 1, retire 2 rearguards, draw 2 cards. If this unit is on Vanguard Circle, this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of battle for each grade 1 card in your drop zone. That's
pretty good.
This is probably the best card Luard could have gotten in premium. First off, it works with Dagda.
It works with Morfessa.
It does work with Morfessa. And if anyone wondering who I'm talking to, it's background. I'm talking to back.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the card's really good. I think Luard's going to be able to make great use of that card, especially with having another card that just counts as a grade 1 and helping secure your ride. So if you're playing like the OG version of Luard and you're not running Knees, because Knees is the V version that searches for the Leafall or the Luard from V. Mm-hmm. If you're playing the older version, you can just run that, and if you don't have the grade 2, you can still secure the grade 2.
Of course. And then the biggest thing, too, is you can leave that as one of your last grade 1s, right? And on your last Dagda counterblast, where you kill something, you call out Dagda. Dagda swings, you pop. Is it a counterblast? Yeah, it's a counterblast. So if you know you're not going to get another Dagda restand, you can counterblast 1, pop Dagda and its back row rear guard, draw 2.
Yeah.
And it gains 5k for every grade 1. Is it grade 1 or less or grade 1? Grade 1. All right.
Yeah, it's grade 1.
Just making sure. We don't want it to be too busted.
Yeah, we don't want it to be as good as Morfessa here.
But you guys now got more hand, which I'm not sure if you guys were struggling with that.
Not really. The main thing that I don't really think Luard has very many struggles. Mm-hmm. The V Luard having more struggles than the OG one, obviously, because it's less control. But the only problem that I see with the deck is like recycling if you don't kill them fast enough. You never really have a problem with cards in hand.
Mm-hmm. So I think the biggest conception, or like the thing I'm thinking about the most, right, is that Luard is able to keep recycling cards as long as you run Belial in the deck, and there was another one. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
It's the stance. You can rest the stance and not call anything.
Cursed Raven.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you never pretty much deck out, and then you can stride for free because of the old Luard, right?
Yeah.
I think you're running the new Luard.
Yeah, I like to play the V Luard.
Now, in comparison to the old Luard that's able to make sure it doesn't kill itself,
yeah,
how do you think it interacts with the V deck, right? So if you early go into the 4 in the deck because you rode first, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't really be able to use this card because it's not a grade 1 on the field.
Yeah, you'd have to wait until your stride turn to use it. If you go first and you could do your whole like board setup, it doesn't count as a grade 1, so you're not getting extra power from it. Mm-hmm. If you're running the tech with the old Morfessa, she also loses her ability. I think that this is a little bit better of a card for the OG Luard, but for the V Luard, once you go into your stride, I think this card's really good.
Yes. So you just got that. You just are not really good going first, but you're better going second.
But I mean, that's fine though, because the reason I like playing the V Luard is because it's already good going first. Because instead of just getting 1 force marker, you're getting 2 or 3 when you go into the other Luard.
Yeah, of course. So moving forward, because Luard is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
for the most part.
You get a bunch of grade 1s out, you just slap them in the face with Morfessa. That's about
And
it.
if you want to run grade 2s, you can just run 1. You can run
Yeah.
Blaster or 2, Blaster Dark, and the card that gets
Damput.
it.
Yeah, you just run Blaster Dark Damput.
And then you call it a
That's
day.
why I also really like that, because Damput's a grade 2. So you go grab Damput, go get Blaster Dark.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you can run so many grade 1s in a deck, and then like you have other options that count as grade 1. So
Yeah.
you have the 2 versions of Morfessa, which are very different, so you have to be careful which one you're running. And then you also have Slaptail, which you haven't tried yet.
I haven't tried yet because I honestly don't know why. I think Slaptail's pretty good.
Yeah. I think he gains, 3K for every 2 grade 1s in a drop zone? Or something like that. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Slaptail. It's been back to like G format. But everyone just stick to Morfessa. Or
Yeah.
like they don't even run Morfessa anymore. It's just Dagda and a bunch of grade 1s.
Yeah, the only reason that people would run the V Morfessa that I can think of is if they're playing the V Luard as well. Because as I was talking about, if you go first, you get that first turn setup. You get Morfessa down. That's an extra attack on top of you already having a bunch of force markers and then being on grade 1 or grade 2.
Yeah. So kind of excited how that's going to going. And then before we get into the ninjas, we did get interrupted by a robot from Nova Grapplers. We got Ultimate Life Form, Cosmolord, Continuous, Vanguard Rearguard. During your turn, if you have no standing rearguards, this unit gains plus 3K for each of your rearguards. So if it's the last attack, it gains a bunch of power. And then Vanguard Rearguard rests 2 rearguards. This unit gets Continuous. It's an axe skill, by the way. Vanguard Rearguard, once per turn at the end of battle, this unit attacked, counterblast 1. This unit stands and gets drive -2 until end of turn. So it's you rest 2 of your units before you call Scarlet Bird.
Yeah.
And then when he attacks, he restands and then would get drive -2. What's kind of weird is that it's rest 2 first, and then when you want it to restand, it's a counterblast. So like you could have just made that a regular counterblast skill, like Kick Typhoon. But I don't know where this card's going to be used. It's not better than the Ashura Kaiser that got revealed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the Ashura Kaiser.
Not really.
So we were revealed before War Deity Ashura Kaiser, right? Which used to be a stride.
Yeah.
And this one says act. You can counter, I believe it's counterblast 1, write it on top of your Ashura Kaiser Vanguard. So you will gain an Excel draw, and then its skill is when it attacks, if you draw check a grade 2 or greater, you can counterblast 1 stand something, but if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can stand everything.
Yeah, I definitely like the Ashura Kaiser more than this.
Yeah.
I also think Victor's probably just a little bit stronger than this.
So Victor, I am not quite sure because I don't know. Do you remember what I did with you with FX
with
Buster?
Yeah.
So for context, I tried out this FX Buster list, lent to me by David Senzikov. Lotsky, I forgot your number, but he's the Nova Grappler player for Jacksonville, and we chat about the deck a bit, and he showed me it, and he showed me another way of doing it with guns down, so now you can't even target my stuff and retire it.
Oh, so it got even better.
Yeah. But it is this recycling kind of deck that just attacks on main phase like a ridiculous amount of times, like 10 times, right? But the majority of it is you resting cards to power up 1 unit to give the power to another unit. And then while you're doing this, Merciless just keeps swinging. Mind you, it's still your main phase. So if I didn't write FX Buster, but wrote Ashura Kaiser, and it's my main phase, and I run out of attacks with Spirit Spartan, I can activate the skill of War Deity Ashura Kaiser, and after Merciless is done with dry checks, just ride War Deity Ashura Kaiser and gain another Excel circle, and then call my field and go into battle phase.
Yeah, basically, you get attacked a lot until you die, and if you're not dying from that, you're getting shout mailed the whole time.
Yeah, and what's good about this version of the deck, why I think it's slightly better than Victor, is because Victor was never the deck.
Well, yeah.
The deck was Ace Buster.
That's what I was going to get to.
And
it's not really Victor. You just go into Ace Buster, get all your drive checks, hope they die.
Exactly. And Ace Buster, yeah, you were attacking, but you weren't doing much. Like, you would gain a bunch of drive, and these things would just swing for, like, minuscule numbers. And then Ace Buster was your worry because it has, like, 7 drive checks. And then, like, it will lose 5, and then it will get 5 more because everything's attacking again.
I mean, they also have the grade 2 rear guard, though, that can't be targeted.
Guns done.
No, they make guns that makes it to where everything can be targeted, and then there's the one that can't be PG'd.
Yeah, you're talking about the Extreme Battler card that can stand something even without GB.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the grade 2 Extreme Battler that if it's been stood,
it has
times,
resist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the one that can't be PG'd.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you go into guns didn't make it to where nothing can be targeted. Then you get the grade 2 out that can't be PG'd. And what I've seen some Nova Grappler players do, like our teammate Nick, he'll just put all the crits and stuff on that rear guard. Since you can't PG it, you just get it big enough to where they can't guard it. Mm-hmm. So that would be the main way I would see the Ace Buster Victor deck continuing. But I like the Ethics Buster build. That build is fun.
It's a lot more fun for the person playing it than
the
one fighting it.
I had fun for about 5 minutes.
I built that deck expecting people to like no longer want to play against it.
Yeah.
And it's not even that like because they're going to lose to it. It's that they have to watch it and they can't interact with it because it's all main phase skills and there's no main phase interaction for your opponent, which I kind of hope there isn't in the future because that would be very confusing.
To give the viewers an idea of how annoying this is, I'm sure you guys have seen people rage at Highlander players taking an absurdly long turn. That turn was at least double with a lot less going on.
I need to speed it up. I need to practice to go faster.
You probably could speed it up practicing going faster, but it's still just a really long combo.
Oh, of course. Of course. If you guys want to check it out, I'm going to message David to see if it's fine, and I'm going to have it up on my website, Naru Samurai Gaming. Speaking of which, I need to get back to that website. We need to update the deck logs. We need a good standard deck log on there, and we need to put some more product on there. We're probably going to see if we can make some shirts and have them up there available. So many projects, guys, but we're working on it. But continuing on, we got a little bit of random reveals. I guess we should be talking about... I'm not going to go through much of the little support, but we did get reprints for Nubatama, one being the new promo we just received. So that's kind of weird. But if you want a triple rare of that promo, it's already out.
Yeah.
Woo! But we got Knight of Consent, Emmeline. I'm going to say it's Emmeline. Sounds pretty good.
We'll just go with him.
Oh, wait. We're sorry. That's not even its name. I'm talking about the Keter Sanctuary card. We're not talking about Keter today.
No, we're talking
but
about the
we
ninjas.
got Evil Stealth Dragon, Magamoko, Fujin. It's Fujin. Nubatama, Abyss Dragon. Hey, it's an Abyss Dragon. Oh, you can't use it in shadows. Raging Form can't work with it. Sorry, guys.
Dang.
But because it's a Nubatama card, it's probably going to have something with Evil Decoy tokens. Continuous Vanguard Circle. During your turn, all of your firmware units gain power plus 5k for each of your Evil Decoy tokens. Who knew?
Who would have thought?
Yep. So it gains plus 5k for each of your Evil Decoy tokens during your turn. So it's not like a 27k on your opponent's turn. Good to know. Good to know.
That would be a little bit too good.
I wish. But continuous Vanguard Circle, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and you have 3 or more Evil Decoy tokens, all of your firmware units gain critical plus 1. So if your back row has 3 decoy tokens because they can't attack or boost, your firmware gains critical plus 1. Oh, my bad.
It would gain like 15k as well,
the
right?
row, yeah. So not just him would get the 15k, but all of your front row units. So that's actually not that bad. Everything's a 15k boost. You don't have to worry about your back row.
Yeah.
Kind of solid.
I like it. It seems pretty good.
Yep. And then following with the auto Vanguard skill, when your rear guard is put into your hand by your card's ability, call up to 1 Evil Decoy token to an open rear guard circle. Then counterblast 1, gain an imaginary gift protect, and put it on that circle. Cannot be placed if its protect 1 is selected. Okay, so you can still gain protect 1, but you're not forced to place it. That's weird. Why would you add that part?
Yeah.
It's saying that if you do this before getting a marker, you can get protect 2 and it auto places.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So it forces a location for protect 2.
Yes.
I like it. I already thought the card was good because just giving an extra crit on top of extra power is good, but extra protects, never bad.
Yeah. And what I really do like about this, and this is probably like thinking like future sight here, it says when your rear guard is returned to your hand by a card's ability, right? You can call up to one evil decoy token and then counterblast one, gain imagine, and get protect. So it can activate whenever.
Yeah, because that doesn't say your ability.
No.
So if you're going up against Bermuda or something like that, they bounce it. You just get free tokens and protects.
Exactly. I don't remember what the Nubatama G Guardian does. It probably doesn't do what I'm thinking, right? But if you can find a way to bounce something to your hand during your opponent's turn by placing something in Guardian Circle, bounce something back, right? You can honestly take advantage of this card's effect and then just start pumping protect markers onto the field. It's a work in progress. It's very different. And the only deck I can probably compare it to is the Hanzo list or just mainly Hanzo.
Yeah.
Because Hanzo has a very solid grade 1 that counts. You can retire the grade 1 called 2 evil decoy tokens on act, or you can put it into your soul, search your deck for a Hanzo, add it to your hand, and then put a grade 3 Hanzo into your soul. It's something like that. It's very busted.
That sounds very good.
Yeah. So I do think that Nubatama is getting some interesting new support, and I actually think it's about time that clans get cards that we haven't seen yet before.
Yeah.
We've been getting the retrains for like about since the beginning.
Yeah. As much nostalgia as retraining stuff brings, eventually you're going to have to release some new support for the clans.
Of course. And I think that's where I think Bushiroad is starting to understand that. And this was my fear with the format, right? I didn't want them to make new cards only for the format, and then that's all we have in premium, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted them to still make new clan cards, which is what they're kind of doing, but very slowly, and then bring them into premium, right? So a good example of this is Daihausen. And it's not a new Batama card, but we've never had a Daihausen before in G format. So finally being able to get Daihausen, use it, that was a big moment. I was like, wow, kind of glad we're getting these new cards and all that. I think Jamio Congo was a new one too.
Yeah.
I don't remember there being another Jamio Congo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a new one.
So I want to see more of this. And I want them to get to a point in V clan selection where it's all new cards.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a new Overlord. I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. Just give me some new stuff, right?
At least new stuff to work with, new stuff to look at.
Exactly. If I have to see another Alfred.
If we have to see another Alfred or another Overlord retrain.
Yeah.
Come on.
Look, even though the Destiny and the Legend look amazing, we don't need them.
Yeah.
But with that, we look a little bit into their support here. He got an Evil Stealth Dragon, Kaguigachi. Every time I read one of these names, I think it's one of those monsters from Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I don't even try and pronounce them anymore.
Auto, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle or Rearguard Circle, call up to one Evil Decoy token to Rearguard Circle. Act, Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle once per turn. Cost, Soul Blast 1, and until end of turn, all of your Evil Decoy tokens get boost and power plus 5k. All right.
That card seems pretty good.
For a Rearguard Circle skill to just Soul Blast 1 and everything gains boost, you can finally use your Evil Decoy tokens because it gains boost. I like the card. My problem is I have to run that card just to do that.
Yeah, you kind of,
And I do believe it's a grade 2, so it's kind of worth it because it's going to gain plus 15, so it's going to be a 24. Mm-hmm. Then it's going to be boosted from a 10, so you're a 34k attack.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. Also calls an Evil Decoy token just by on play, so it's pretty much the equivalent of one of the Neo Nectar cards.
Yeah.
What's that? Sylvia? Musketeer Sylvia?
I think so, yeah. You just play it, get a token.
Yeah.
Why not?
Easy. Remember how I used to work for Evil Decoy tokens? Counterblast 1, call 2 Evil Decoy tokens, or Counterblast 1, bounce something to my hand, call 2 Evil Decoy tokens. Can't forget. Call, retire, call 2 Evil Decoy tokens. I had to work for my Evil Decoy tokens, bro.
Now you just get to on place.
On place, 1 Decoy token. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Hopefully this doesn't mean they're moving in the same direction as Neo Nectar, though.
So side note, we as a collective have talked about Neo Nectar being undersupported, right?
Yeah.
And it's very weird to say because Neo Nectar followed this gimmick, or mainly the Maidens kind of followed this gimmick, and then a little bit of Cecilia and the Musketeers. You get a plant token, right? But like, there's only so many times you can call that plant token before it becomes like absolutely useless on the field.
Yeah.
And then the one thing that kind of helped it was the one thing that caused it to be too good. And that was Katrina, right? That's its name?
Yeah. Green Katrina.
Oh, Katrina was so busted. People ask, is it possible now to use Katrina? And like, some of us say yes. And like, there's times when like I'm on a sleep spell where I would think, yeah, probably. And then I remember that like you can just call the Amber clone and then keep multi-attacking. And then I'm like, why does this deck exist?
Our friend / teammate Ryan is big, going hard on unbanning Katrina.
Yeah.
He says that's the only way to make Neo Nectar playable anymore.
It's almost impossible.
I mean,
I think they can make a new one.
They probably can and
Yeah.
should just make a new, better Stride. But can you really blame the Neo Nectar players for wanting their clan to be playable? They've been waiting so long.
Bro, I used to play Salad Paladin, and I'll go back to Salad Paladin if it's good, all right?
Fair enough.
AKA Neo Nectar, if anyone didn't get that. But moving forward, we did get our Neo Nectar Nubatama card. We have Stealth Beast Magami. I can read that one. Act Rearguard Circle once per turn. Cost, retire a grade 0, your evil decoy token.
Yeah.
And Soul Charge 1. Soul Charge, is that once per turn? That's once per turn.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I was about to say, after we just found a card that plays them for free?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I can call 1, retire, and call 2, and then sack them and Soul Charge 2. If I Soul Charge a grade 3, Mizukaze, call it a day. Really good card with the auto Rearguard Circle. At the end of battle, this unit boosted a Vanguard cost, Soul Blast 1, and return this unit and the boosted unit to your hand. At the end of battle, this unit boosted a Rearguard. Oh, okay, so you return the Rearguard it boosted and itself to your hand. This is actually something I've been kind of interested in, and I'm kind of happy it doesn't say that it needs to have the Vanguard Fuganer on it. Because I was in that one situation where I kind of want to bounce my column back, right? But the Magatsu card, the grade 2 says put to soul, bounce a card back to your hand. So I only can bounce the card in the back row, but I couldn't get the Magatsu card back. But with this card, I can probably be able to now just boost it and bounce both to my hand.
You just bounce them. Yeah.
The one problem is soul charging, but this card just said retire grade 0, soul charge 1. So
all those tokens you're getting for free now, you can just get free soul.
exactly. And you can keep the cards that you want in your hand for the majority of the time. Overall, I think Nubatama got pretty decent support.
Yeah.
They're reprinting the evil decoy token, so I'm hoping we get triple rares of them.
Maybe SPs.
Whoa. Don't get ahead of yourself. I don't want SPs. I can't afford that. But yeah, 5 triple rare pieces of block. I'll be happy.
Yeah.
5 triple rare 2x4s. That's all I need. Man, I kid. All right, so we have a Keter card, but we're mostly talking about premium today. And we got Murakumo. Now, I have not read this card yet, so we're going to try to digest it to see if Murakumo needed this or not. And then we're probably going to get some side commentary from our boy Nick in the back row once he hears me read this card and be like, it combos with this.
Probably.
He's enjoying it. So we got Shikigami, Messenger, Ryoji. I'm going to go with Ryoji.
Close enough.
Act, Vanguard Circle once per turn. Cost, Counterblast 1, and look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 Stealth Fiend from among them, call it to Rearguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose up to 2 Stealth Fiends instead of 1. So your premium-wise, you're probably only going to get 1 because your opponent will be at grade 2, and by the time you get to grade 3, you're probably striding.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a way to superior ride this card
I don't
after
think
stride.
so.
Not at the moment.
Yeah.
Murakumo had a big nerf. After
So bring up a point for this. This also searches all the cards for Shiryuki.
this searches all the cards for Shiryuki.
That search for Shiryuki, yes.
Ooh. This may not be that bad.
Because every card that's a part of Shiryuki is a stealth feed.
That actually could combo really well because I've been seeing a Shiryuki deck going around.
Yeah, I've been seeing Shiryuki becoming like one of these like intense matchups just for like the minus 15 because you get the on ride minus 10. You stride into the Shiryuki card. You call yourself the other Shiryuki that's a rear guard skill that says when the attack doesn't hit, minus 10 again. So it gets pretty funny enough, neg the more it goes. So like
I could see that working very well with the Shiryuki deck, and I'm sure people will find a way to make that card really good.
Yeah. The only issue would be like you can't go into the Shiryuki stride because it's no longer a Shiryuki heart.
Yeah.
And then if you really want to get funny with this, this works with all of the rat support.
The million rats?
Yeah.
Oh man,
You
that's
said it was
funny.
an act, right?
Yeah.
I was hoping it was an on place.
I wish. But let's see the autos. We may have an on place here. Auto Vanguard Circle. When your rear guard is placed by a unit's ability, this unit gets this unit's name until end of turn.
Hold on.
That unit
they
gets-
gain his name?
That unit gains this unit's name.
Okay.
So she will be naming all of them her name
Yeah.
because she is uncreative for naming them.
Yeah.
Auto Vanguard Circle. If this unit's attack did not hit, so the Vanguard attack, Soul Blast 2, choose any number of units in your drop zone with Stealth Fiend in their card name up to the number of your additional rearguard circles and call them to additional rearguard circle.
All right, so that helps save you from having to call cards out of your hand.
Of course. Holy cow. What I do think this will probably venture better in, and I don't even know how many Stealth Fiends are in there, right? But I'm thinking right away to... it's on the tip of my tongue. It's Yasue. Yeah, Yasue and Yasue Tenma.
You see, I don't know how many Shadow Fiends are in there, but if that
Stealth Fiends.
yeah, Stealth Fiends, my bad. I don't know how many Stealth Fiends are in the Yasui deck, but if there is a good amount, I can see that card working really well in that deck.
Yeah. Because the Stealth Fiend deck, the Yasue deck right away to me is able to generate a lot of Excel markers because you go from Yasue and then to Yasue Tenma. Mm-hmm. And then the following turn, you ride back into Yasue. And
then you go
can
back.
get the Tenmas
You're
back
getting
in.
about 2 Excel markers
A turn. Yeah. So keeping up with that, I do think that can be good if there's Stealth Fiends in there. If there's not, then it's a dead idea.
Yeah.
Overall, I think she's a good card. What's rough? So she'll be like the final ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like after you have 2 Excel markers, you ride her, get another Excel draw. So you have 3 already. But does that pretty much kill the Yasue deck at that point? Because Tenma needs to ride over Yasue. We'll see.
I think in V that could work pretty well as its own deck, but
Of
for
course.
premium, I don't think it'll be its own deck. It'll probably just be a nice support card.
In premium, it has its interesting mechanic because you can see weird things in premium. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
All right, now we got Stealth Fiend Fugen. Can you believe the card that calls Stealth Fiends has Stealth Fiends in its support? Auto, when placed on rear circle by a card's ability, this unit gains power plus 5k until end of turn. Auto rearguard circle, when this unit attack does not hit, if your Vanguard is Shikigami, Messenger, Ryoji, put this unit into your soul. All of your rearguards with the same name as your Vanguard get plus 5k. So when its attack does not hit, you put it to soul, everybody gains 5k.
You push it to soul, buff everybody else for
By 5K.
every copy.
It's kind of like a weaker Hiyaki Vogue. But I see its goal. Stealth Fiend Tizen. When placed on rear card circle by a card's ability, this unit gets plus 5k until end of turn. Auto, rear guard circle, when this unit attack did not hit. If your Vanguard is Ryoji, I'm not going to read out the whole name anymore, put this unit to your soul. Look at 7 cards on the top of your deck, read up to 1 grade 3 from among them, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. All right, so this card works really well
this card.
with Shiryuki.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have the card that says if her attack does not hit, check top 7 for a Shiryuki, you then have this card that activates and you'll check top 7 for a grade 3. You can either add Ryoji into your hand or another Shiryuki. Honestly, its mechanic is very like it adds support, but you're taking away a lot of like the main cards for those decks.
Yeah.
So I can't really tell where the direction Miracle was going because Miracle had some really cool ideas at first, and then he kind of like knocked both of them from the ban list in good reason.
Yes.
I forgot the name of the card with the long Yukio text, but it definitely should not have existed. The weird tiger centipede looking thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
I
about.
also don't know the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
And honestly, like that card shouldn't have existed. There was also an infinite loop version of the Murakumo deck, right? That focused on these a grade 2, a grade 1, and it was not. It didn't have Hyuga in it, but it was. You use the Yasui deck for it, but you pretty much keep cycling these cards, powering up this thing very big, and at the end of its attack, if the attack didn't hit, you would repeat the process.
It's because of shadow stitching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Shadow Stitch, that was using the Shadow Stitch.
I do like that it looks like they're still trying to keep the shadow stitching a thing, but I've always just kind of disliked that mechanic.
Shadow Stitching was a interesting mechanic, all things considered.
Yeah.
I do think that there's like good points for it, and I honestly think like being able to like have a response when an attack doesn't hit is good, but that deck just had so many like pop-offs
Yeah.
if the attack didn't hit. So like if they were able to push you against the wall without Shadow Stitching,
It almost felt like the opponent would have to like play perfectly against that deck, know exactly what to let hit and what not to let hit in order to win.
that's what a Vanguard player's got to be, correct?
I mean, yeah.
So with that, I think that's pretty much the majority of the reveal wise, right? But I wanted to get a little bit more into like meta. So the Georgia event just finished. You heard a little bit about it from everybody around.
Heard a little bit.
And we have Texas happening where we're not going to be attending it because we're getting ready for BCS, getting strong. The Ramada event is a whole different story because it's not going to be a best of one like how BCS is. So we're going to be talking about a best of 3 rounds. It's probably going to be an hour round because a lot of people can't finish premium in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people?
No, I usually finish before the time, even though I play a very slow deck.
I finish 2 minutes out of time, and that's not because I'm slow. It's because I would play a deck that no one understands.
Yeah. You see, my deck, for all the viewers that don't know, I'm the team's Bermuda player. I like to play Highlander. I usually do go pretty fast. It definitely goes a lot faster when I know my opponent.
Yeah.
But, like, most of the time, it just feels like the opponent tries to make the Bermuda player play slow, from what I've seen.
So what's a funny thing with the new time rule? So to anyone's wondering, the Ramada event, I said it before, is a Kissimmee event. It gets run between releases. They haven't been able to hold in Kissimmee in a while because they just got a new shop. And, Florida rent's tough.
Yeah.
So they do what they got to do. But they are running events for the community. And honestly, it's mostly now the East Coast area of the U.S. because I remember the last of them, we got a good chunk of Georgia people come in.
Yeah.
I do think we had some North and South Carolina people arrive as well. So I thought that was a very cool attention to detail there. I actually want to see if we can bring more people in from the eastern side and all that. And then this is me just talking about like my friend's shop, right? But like I want them to do well to be able to like generate like, nationals level tournaments. Because one thing I do wish that we were at as a English format kind of thing, right, is we don't have Vanguard Cups like Japan has. We don't have Master Cup series, Pro Series, right? Like I feel we have to generate that.
Yeah.
And that's what like some of these shops or organizations should do. Like, you know, they're able to run these card tournaments, right? They should find a way to like build the community up, work from there. And I honestly think that Kingslayer Cards is doing a very good job doing so, because even with the bad publicity they've gotten from like the past, because during the COVID, we were running events, right?
Yeah.
The community still comes out and loves it, right? Because we care for the Vanguard players. They provide for the Vanguard players. I don't know why I'm saying we. I'm just a commentator guy. But they provide for the Vanguard players. They assist the Vanguard players. If you guys need to sell cards, they will buy your cards for you. Not like other shops that would just be like, oh, Vanguard, we're not interested. I mean,
yeah.
You know, PPG stopped selling or buying Vanguard cards after the Chicago event.
Really?
Yeah. So they came to the Bushy Road Spring Fest, right? They bought the Vanguard product, or they were buying Vanguard product because they were the vendors, right? So they had to do it. And then like later they just stopped buying Vanguard cards. And then anyone who will go to their shop in Miami, Florida, and to sell Vanguard cards because they know that they were buying at the location is like, we're not interested in Vanguard.
Yeah, you see, that's why I think Richard and Kingslayer overall have had a lot of success, is because from my personal experiences and from everything I've seen, it almost feels like Richard goes out of his way to be as nice and as helpful whenever he can and trying to help the community.
Of course.
Richard always just tries to help, be nice. He's the only one really going out there running the big tournaments for everybody.
Yeah. And what I think is really good about these tournaments, right, is like even though they're kind of small and they're held at the same location, it's a gallery at the Ramada, which is this hotel. It's slowly getting bigger. Like one time we had 100 plus people.
There was like what, 102, 112? Something like that
there was
one time?
100. I think I want to say 108.
I think that was for the overdress release.
So set one of overdress, yeah. Which is kind of weird. I would not go to a tournament if everyone's playing the same 4-5 cards.
Yeah. I remember that tournament, actually. That was a really fun tournament.
That tournament was actually a lot more intense than I was expecting. That was still also during Premium where Daimonis was unrestricted.
Yeah, you see.
And not banned yet.
That was before I had gotten like into Premium tournaments. Mm-hmm. So I went there just for the overdress tournament for the most part, right? I ended up topping. I was playing Barrow. Barrow's my favorite overdress deck. In set one, there wasn't that many people playing it either, which was nice. But when it came to Premium, I had never played Premium before. That night after the overdress tournament, I was talking with my friend Alfred. Some of the viewers might know Alfred. I know you guys know Alfred. And he taught me Premium, right? I bet y'all cannot guess the very first deck I learned.
Barrow?
Fenrir Loop.
Ah.
That meta was so annoying because it was a bunch of loop decks and then DI.
So the loop decks were a little bit obnoxious, right? But like,
yeah,
all of them were unbeatable, all of them were beatable.
Yeah.
Except for Daimonis, right? So you would have to play a certain deck, of course, right?
Yeah.
But like you had advantages. Like I remember going up against the Kaguro Blademaster loop and the Valkyrion loop, which are all based on running stand triggers, and they would run like 12 stand triggers.
I think whenever I played the Blademaster deck, I had 16.
Yeah.
If you really feel like it, you can run the over.
And my biggest thing about them, right, was like Valkyrion was easy. You couldn't call to the astral plane unless it was Valkyrion. So I had around Valkyrion.
Yeah.
I got scared for 2 seconds. The guy top called another Valkyrion, but it says one place from hand. I was like, whew.
Yeah. Same thing with the Blademaster deck.
Yeah. You head around it and then
just get rid of the token.
It's gone. Now they changed the rule of stands to you can't stand. Oh, no. If you stand something,
whenever you stand, it loses the drive checks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it says. Which
I think it was definitely a change that needed to be made. They needed to hit the stand loop decks. But at the same time, for the Keter decks that restand, you kind of cucked them out of if they hit the over. They don't even
Keter
get the drive
decks?
check. Yeah. Because I was thinking about that with Luard, because back when I used to run the Amar Tanoa and Luard,
Yeah.
I would hit the over and I'd be like, oh, sick. And then after like the first attack or so, I'd be like, oh, my units don't have drive checks anymore.
Yeah, that's a funny error
Yeah.
for the most part. Holy cow! Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
You pull the over, then you pull the stamp.
Nobody thought about it. I didn't even think about it till I actually played the Luard deck.
Yeah, that's a big oof for the most
I
part.
think they did the right thing hitting it. I just don't know if they went the right way about it. But I personally couldn't think of any better way to go. It was really hard.
I think what I would have just said would be like, you can't stand the attacking unit.
Yeah.
Because then his drive checks are meaningless.
But then they would attack with the other rear guard, hit a stand with that, restand the token, swing the
how
token,
would the rear
restand
guard
the other one.
getting drive check? Right, Blade Master was.
Oh, that's right. We're talking about Blade Master. We're not talking about
Yeah.
Keter.
So, like, if you hit the stand on Blade Master or the rear guard Blade Master, right, you couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
So then you would swing with Blade Master and hope for a stand trigger. And then, yeah, you would stand it, right? But then the Vanguard already swung. You only get one more swing with the rear guard with drive checks, which is fair than just being, like, swinging.
I'm just happy we're out of that meta, to be honest.
Oh, of course, of course. They hard hit it with a minus drive.
While I did practice all the loop decks, I played all of them at least once or twice. They were not fun. Mm-hmm. Not even playing them.
Now, continuing on, I don't think we got a ban list until the recent ban list, but it only hit V Premium, I believe.
Yeah. The most recent ban list that we have, only it hit like, it banned Hamiel and it hit like, what, a few Bermuda cards?
Yeah, but Hamiel can still be played in.
Triple choice restricted Lord.
Yeah, they tripled, yeah.
Oh wait, they did hit premium again too. They also triple choice restricted the Pale Moon deck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just so that you couldn't do the infinite loop with Pale Moon, where like you can swing like 50 times.
I was hoping they would just hit Ginny, just get rid of the Nightmare Dolls.
Nightmare Dolls were the things that came out of it because Nightmare
Yeah,
Dolls
no.
wasn't the best deck
Yeah,
until now.
they were focusing on Harry, and then by getting rid of Harry or Hari, they brought the
Hari
attention
was
on-
crazy too.
That
And I
deck
think
was crazy.
You can still do it, I think. Like build up the stage.
Yeah, no, you could still build up the stage. I think the reason they hit Hari is because they didn't want them to have like a Denial Griffin play as easily. But I think Ryan's been playing Hari, and that deck still seems really good.
Yeah. What was the triple choice restrict? It was Perryton, Purple Trapezist, one of the Purple Trapezes that went back and out. And then
I don't remember
there was a
third one.
card that was like Purple Trapezist that they made in V. Oh, I can't remember its name. But it did the
Yeah,
same thing as
I
Purple
don't
Trapezist.
remember
It
off
went
the
in
top
and
of
went
my
out.
head.
And then Perryton was like you call it, you soul charge it, you call another thing out, which is busted. Who wrote that card?
Yeah.
Every time I see that Perryton, knowing that it's like what a common or a rare and it's doing all this, I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
You're like, man, this guy's getting more value out of his common or rare than most decks get out of their triple R.
And then someone would argue, is like, what about Sword Me? And I'm like, Sword Me's a promo. It deserved it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Sword Me, the other day I was looking. I think it was like at $30 or $40. The card's ridiculous. They're going to have to make another revival collection.
Yeah.
It's crazy where the Vanguard formats have gone, right? So we've been talking about premium good chunk, and the reason why is because we heavily play premium.
Yeah.
My one dot of why I like premium is not about like playing it, but like deck building. Like there's so much more like you can build in premium, and you can do the same in V premium, right? But premium has all these like extra aspects to it. Defensive wise and offensive wise, and it just goes full circle. Overdress is not there yet, but I am very passionate about set 5
Yeah.
because the one issue of Overdress I had in comparison to premium V series and all that, right, is because Overdress didn't give us the 24 clans, so we didn't have 24
Yeah,
choices.
you didn't
to
have
play.
as much to work with.
They gave us 5 nations, which they're not going to add more. We count Lyrical, but for this math, I'm not going to really count Lyrical right now. So we have the 5 nations. We got 2 decks to build for the 5 nations in set 1, right? So a total for 10 different decks. Then by set 3, we started getting 3 new decks. In set 2, we got PBD and Overlord.
Yeah.
Which are not getting that much support. They get support every 3 sets.
Yeah. Next set though.
Yeah, we will be getting support.
Yeah.
So that is 10, 2, that's 12. Then we got the trial deck for Dragon Empire. That was 13. Then we got 3 new ride lines, which was Gravidia, Flagberg, and Greedon.
Yeah.
Which brings us to 16. Proceeding into this set, right? This is why I'm not counting Lyrical, because it gets weird with Lyrical. Because Lyrical, I would count as 1 because it's all these Lyrical cards being used, right? But they all kind of do their own thing, but at the end of the day, they're almost the same thing.
Yeah. They all relatively do the same thing. They just have their little differences.
Of course. So if we count Lyrical, that's 17, right? Then we go into set 5, where we're getting 5 new ride lines and MLB. Because do we really count MLB?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're also making 2 ride lines that weren't played that much, being PBD and Overlord. They're making those actually playable.
Yeah, and then they're putting MLB in it. So we'll add 6 more to the list, right? We are now at 23, 22. 23 if we count Lyrical. Different decks we can build, right? And this is where I actually think Overdress may start taking a different turn. And it starts with those Dual Nation cards. So those Dual Nation cards currently are very stagnant, stuck to the deck that they're part of, which makes no sense.
I think they're trying to prevent breaking premium.
Yes. So these Dual Nation cards, right, are very focused. I'll give you one example. There's one called Atrocious Maple Seraph or Bug or something like that, right? It's a Stoicheia Keter card. It is a glitter skill that works with Figra, right? And it has some Figra skill where it does whatever. I didn't read the card that well. I just knew it's glitter Figra. It's regular skill that can be used in Stoicheia. Because remember, you can't use the glitter skill unless you're playing Keter.
Yeah.
But you could use the first skill because it works for anything. Is just in drop zone. If you do not have her on the field, call her on the field.
That's pretty good.
So it's pretty much the craziest thing was I started looking at 7Cs after reading that card. Because if I can keep retiring this card and calling this Maple Girl back out, I can start giving 3K power to all the 7Cs units.
Oh, so you're thinking about a new loop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, not a loop, but more infinite power.
Yeah.
Which it's not really worth, but remember all the V Series 7C says if this card hits, you gain a treasure token. I need to make them hit somehow.
You need some way to make the deck good.
Of course. So that is the only skill I got, which is almost useless for Stoicheia in D format.
Yeah.
I know we went off to premium for a bit.
That sounds more of a Grand Blue card.
Yeah. So it's a 10K, right? It doesn't gain power. I'm okay, sure, you can call it out. If you have Magnolia, it's a 15K swing. Flagberg's not going to use it.
Yeah. Zorga doesn't really care.
Zorga has
Zorga has a way to call whatever it wants for the most part.
Exactly. And Zorga's just do you Aqua Magic? I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So, it's honestly a Keter card. And, to anyone that's local that knows that I sell splits, right? People are like, oh, what are you going to do about the donations? I'm like, well, you're going to get the Figra card. That's the Stoicheia card for the Keter deck because that makes sense. And then the one that's whatever Keter, whatever Stoicheia will go to you. So, you get the Dragon Girl.
Yeah.
And isn't that the weirdest logic? The first clan it is not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that does seem really weird. It doesn't seem like they thought much about it beforehand.
Yeah.
It just seems like they're like, man, this is a really cool idea. And then they just kind of went with it without putting too much effort into it.
Yeah. So that's how I'm going to do Dual Nation cards currently for this. But where I think the Dual Nation cards are going to become more complicated, where you can't sell them for splits, is when they start doing things that are useful for both nations.
We'll have to see when they come out with more.
Exactly. We'll have to see when they come out with more. But the one thing I did kind of want to say, right, is just like where they can go with it can change most decks. So if you want to be able to call something to the drop because you want access to activating ability that you require a unit on, right? Which most old Dragon Empire decks kind of needed a rear guard on the field. Sorry, most old Shadow Paladin decks needed a card already on the field. Oh, well, I have this Stoichea Keter card that just calls itself
It just
out.
calls itself.
Right? So you can take advantage of things like that. Mind you, that card's really not good. So that's not the best example. But like later down the line, like you get that one card that does what you kind of wish your deck had in it.
Yeah.
And then you can access it. So Dual Nation cards are going to be very interesting. I do not expect there to be a Dual Nation Vanguard.
There really shouldn't be.
No.
If they did that, that would break the game a little bit too much.
Oh, yeah. A lot even.
Think about that in premium. If they made like a dual nation like Keter with literally any other clan.
Yeah.
Imagine Luard with other clan
They would
supports.
have
Yeah.
to make it exclusive to Overdress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They would have to state that you can't use this card outside of Overdress as like a like an ERAD.
That would make more sense.
yeah. Because imagine if you had a Keter Stoichea card. You can go into both Zoa and into Ultima.
Well, another way that would work is they would say that if you use one clan, then you're locked into that instead of
Yeah.
being able to use both.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Double checking. So actually, they already do have that rule. You're not allowed to run other Zero Dragons in the deck unless you run you run Gize in the deck.
Yeah.
And that is one of the locks that they have, like G-Zone wise. But in terms of running like multiple clans in there, they don't have anything crazy. So they'll probably make that rule if that
I
happens.
mean, because they've never had this before. It used to be back in the day, it doesn't matter what clan, you just play whatever.
Yeah, that
Then
was
they
Extreme
started,
Fight.
Yeah, then they started clan restricting. They haven't had dual nation cards before. They don't know where to go yet.
No. And Dual Nation cards becomes like that very like crazy idea.
Yeah.
But that's why we talk about Set 5. We have both Set 5 and P Clan Selection releasing in June. I think Set 5 is June 10th, like around that weekend. And P Clan Selection is June 24th on the day of the Ramada event.
Yeah,
Now, I know we've been...
Ramada events happening after
Yeah.
the premium stuff.
And I know I've been bringing up the Ramada event a lot, guys, but if you do live in Eastern U.S. and want to be going into some cash tournaments, Ramada is June 25th through the 26th. Some people are already going to be there the 24th, just play testing outside for the most
Team
part.
Eclipse will be there.
Yep, us, Team Eclipse, are going to be there. Kingslayer, of course, their team's going to be there because Kingslayer's got to be there early.
Honestly, even if you don't like playing tournaments, a lot of the people that show up there are just nice overall. It's a nice environment to just hang out and play.
Of course. And I do enjoy, like, the banter throughout all.
Yeah.
Like, we get competitive, but at the same time, we joke about it. I do remember we can share, like, a little bit of memories of, like, other events. I think there was one event where in Premium, Anderson goes in and is fighting someone playing, I believe, Prism.
Zavani. You're talking about what he did to
Zavani
Zavani.
Grant, yeah. And he just one-shots him twice.
He did him not. He did
Yeah,
nine damage.
so he goes to swing at Zavani, hits a couple crits, hits the over, and is like 10 damage. Zavani just picks up his cards and leaves. Well, what do you do against that? You're playing against D-Police. They flip the over. You just kind of have to pick up your cards. My favorite is whenever you play against your friends at the tournaments like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've played against a few.
Like,
of
why
our
did I
friends before.
pay if I could have
Yeah.
just fought you for free?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I think that's like the biggest thing in Ramada events is when you start fighting your like teammates and all that, because you're not as big as a Bushiroad event. But even at a Bushiroad event where there's like 300 people and you still get paired against your friend, I'm like, boss.
I mean, you're also going to be at the tournament with your friends, right? And you're in Kissimmee. You could just plan a whole week vacation out of it. After you're done with the tournament, you can go see the rat. Disney's right there.
The
You can go see the mouse himself.
million rat.
He working at Disney.
Yeah. I mean, the hotel itself has a pool too.
Million Rat Mickey Mouse. No copyright, please. I want to keep my channel. You're not wrong. A lot of people actually, when they come to the Ramada event, they plan around it. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I have one guy coming. I'm not sure if he's still going. I'm going to ask him actually after this stream or podcast to those watching on Spotify and Apple. But he talked to me about running or coming to commentate. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to bring my girlfriend and all that. We're probably going to hit up Disney Springs, go there, hang out. We're probably going to go to the House of Blues. We kind of like have some ideas planned out. We're going to do that on most likely the Monday because I'm going to take Monday and Tuesday off. And it's going to be very chill because no one's going to be there. I'm like, man, bro, you kind of planned this out. Holy cow. I mean, you're coming in to play a children's card game, then going to Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, I think that does factor into why Richard and the Kingslayer tournaments get more people.
Yeah.
Especially when they're in Orlando, because you're in Orlando, it's just a really good area. A lot of the Orlando's like pretty close to like everybody. You don't have to drive too far to get there, and there's a lot of stuff around there to do before or after the tournament.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's kind of like a convenience, right? Like you're not in like a random part of Florida where there's nowhere to interact, right? If you're in Tampa, you can go to Busch Gardens or you can hit up I don't think SeaWorld's in.
No, SeaWorld's in Orlando. SeaWorld and Aquatica's in Orlando.
Is in Orlando.
Yeah, you got Universal, SeaWorld, Aquatica, Disney. You got everything there.
Yeah.
If you're in Tampa, it's Busch Gardens and
the zoo.
Adventure Island.
Adventure Island. What the hell was that?
The only three things I've ever seen in I've ever seen in Tampa is Busch Gardens, their water park, which I guess is Adventure Islands, and then the Lowry Park Zoo. There's only three things to do in Tampa.
Yeah.
But you're in Orlando.
But in Orlando, you got everything.
Orlando, you got everything.
You can even hit up like the malls with like really good like places to eat. I went one time to it was near Cocoa Beach. We drove up to Orlando, right? And we ended up going to like this Italian place. And I think it was slightly expensive, right? But like there was one order where I kind of like lost it because I read it wrong. But like you wouldn't have read it wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay. I wanted to get spaghetti, so I ordered spaghetti and meatball, right? It was exactly what it said. It did not say spaghetti and meatballs.
It said spaghetti and meatball.
And ball, yeah. And then they come in, the spaghetti's there, and then there's this huge ball of meat in the middle.
You had to make your own meatballs.
Yeah. No. It was already cooked.
No, you had to cut it up into little meatballs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. At that point, it looked like I was just like, this looks more like spaghetti and meatloaf.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't a loaf.
And they're just like, look at the menu. Look at the menu, dude. It's on there.
Yeah. And that's one big thing that I kind of do think a lot of people in the community for Vanguard do is like they all hang out. They go eat somewhere together and all that. I think we get like crazy amount of people meeting up for food.
I think the last time I was at a Kissimmee event, afterwards, our group went out and Richard's group joined us and other people joined us. I think the last time we went out, we had like close to 25 people.
Our highest table was a table of 25.
Yeah.
So the last time that we went out, the last KSC event that we went to, we decided to go somewhere. And then everybody else followed us because there was no seating at any other restaurant.
Yep.
No, but yeah, that's the crazy thing. It's just like the Kissimmee event is like Big Brother, bro. Like you go in, you all hang out together, you party together afterwards, and then you go in and play the next round the next day.
You just get to know there, knowing all your friends are going to be there, and you get to hang out with all your friends on top of getting to play Vanguard.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the biggest thing about the Ramada events I do enjoy.
Yeah.
It went very off topic for a second, talking about, Italian food, but... One thing we do try to bring here is community with the Vanguard people, Vanguard players, the card fighters, the Vanguardians.
Yeah. I think it's very important for a community to all hang out with each other, be nice to each other, just trying to everybody help each other out overall.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I help the Vanguard community so much. Like, they all ask me, like, hey, are you picking up, like, play sets? I can't find them anywhere, and I got you, right? And then, like, there's these, like, websites that are just overcharging for play sets.
Yeah.
Like, think one was selling them for like 160. I was like, ugh. I don't think anyone wants Dragon Empire that bad.
Yeah, at that point, I just buy my singles.
Yeah, and I do think that the prices are going to go up eventually, right? Like,
Yeah, especially
Seraph's-
with the Dual Nation stuff.
Exactly, and then with the Grade 4s recently, when they came out, they were 15 each.
Yeah.
And then like the Seraph Snow one,
The Seraph Snow one was like 25.
Well, it was 25. I don't know if it went down, right? But like, you pretty much already were spending 100 there. I think we
Yeah.
sold it to someone in our team for like $30 because we're team members.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a mistake for whoever wanted to do that split. I mean, that guy left off of a steal.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Vanguard kind of really did kind of bring everybody here together. Honestly, I'm a person who like jumps a lot. Mm-hmm. And when I got to Lakeland, no one played Vanguard. And if anyone doesn't know where Lakeland, Florida is, it's pretty much in between Tampa and Orlando.
Yeah. We get the best of both worlds.
We get the best of both worlds.
We drive like
and
30
then we have the
minutes
most
each way.
quietest location in the middle.
Yep.
The biggest gap you ever seen.
Yeah.
So, so I think 2016 to 2017 there was like no Vanguard players, and then 2018 onward they were appearing,
Yeah.
and then some from Orlando and Tampa were coming here, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really, because my dad, originally, he had a card shop.
Yeah.
He was trying to run Vanguard for a while. Nothing really. I think it was more of a, when V format came out, it got a lot more people back into it. Yeah. As much as we like, as much as the Vanguard community in general likes to hate on the V format, I think it did bring a lot of players back into the game when it originally came out. Mm. That's why I think it started popularizing, because people came out with...
It's the same thing because of V Premium when it first started. When we had our first reboot.
That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Overdrive.
Yeah, no.
So,
I was talking about, because
that
was,
is true.
That
When
was
the-
more when the play in Lakeland picked up.
When the reboot happened was when I started going to Sunshine Games, and they're a good shop. I don't know how they're doing now because like after COVID, I kind of like stopped going because like COVID.
I think they're still doing all right. They just occasionally close the inside of their store if somebody gets COVID or something like that.
Yeah, but like overall, like the events there were good at the time. I think there was one format I really liked for a V series, and it was 2-deck format.
Yeah.
That I don't know why they took that away. That was such a
Yeah,
good
I
format.
really like that.
I think it's just because it takes too long.
That's
Because
true.
Now you have to take out a whole other.
Yeah, it takes too long, and I guess they don't want to like punish the people who can't afford to have 2 decks. Mm-hmm. But
That's the big one.
I think you should just have it as like an extra format for the people that do have the 2 decks. If they want to play it, they can.
Yeah.
Because I mean that the main reason people like that format is because it's a very skill expressive format. Your results depend on what decks you bring and what matchups you use them in and how you use them.
It honestly feels like you're playing like a Pokemon battle, like you
Yeah.
know, like in the anime, right? And be like, but it's like the opposite. So like you know when you lose, you can no longer use that Pokemon, right? But in this situation, if you lose, you still have it. You have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But if you win, you lose your deck to use. You gotta switch the other one. So honestly, like it built up like countering people.
Yeah.
I did one time 3 decks against someone. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I won the first game and then proceeded to lose 2 games. And then I had to win 2 games in a row.
Yeah, it happened.
The mega underdog game. That's crazy.
You see, that's why I like Vanguard. That's how Vanguard works. No matter how good you are, what matchup you're in, at the end of the day, your opponent could just hit a trigger and steal the game.
Oh, yeah.
Which sometimes is a little bit upsetting, but overall, it's good to have some aspect of luck in the game.
I honestly think that's what kind of makes the game good, right? And I know we're going slightly or like above past what we were going to talk about because we kind of like hit off the reveals very quickly, right?
Yeah.
But in Vanguard, it has a luck system that a lot of people were upset about, right? But in a card game, you kind of need it, or you become a filter system.
Yeah.
So, like, an example is like Yu-Gi-Oh! You draw your hand if you either need one or two things: the cards you need to play your turn, or cards you need to get the cards you need to play your turn.
Yeah.
Right, and then other decks suffer with like a similar luck system, but not really. Like anything that requires mana, right?
Yeah.
So like Magic, you draw in too much mana,
Yeah.
You can't call anything to the field. You draw very little mana, your mana, you can't do anything because you draw the wrong type of mana.
Yeah. That's why I think the people who aren't big fans of like having much luck in game, that's why I think they're all migrating towards Digimon, I think. Because Digimon's a little bit less luck-based, but you still have to be a little lucky.
So, no matter what, you got to be lucky in card games, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you don't get to choose what you draw.
Yeah, and then that's what Digimon was aware about. Because they never released a card that searched the deck.
Yeah, always do whatever, the rest go to the bottom.
Yeah, top 3 go to the bottom, top 3 go to the bottom.
Yeah.
And they never want you to guarantee what you need, which I honestly think is a fair choice, right? But like, if you can still like be totally cucked, if like you don't have what you need against your opponent, and then your opponent just keeps energy. No, it's not energy. Memory.
Yeah, their memory gauge. Yeah.
If you don't see any of your... That's a big thing, too. The only thing that keeps you in the game is Tamers. And if you don't see Tamers, you're kind of like SOL. But like now, you run so many Tamers.
Yeah, now is the hybrid meta. They don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's why I've taken a break from the game. The hybrid meta is not fun.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of like migrating back more into Vanguard. Like 100% of my attention's to Vanguard.
Me as well.
So like I'm selling out of Digimon.
We've already talked about this. Me and you are selling out of
Yeah, bro. Vanguard is where it's at, and it's getting a lot better. So we got P-Clan selection coming out. We already went through a good chunk of P-Clan selection cards. I really dislike the name, but I do love the support. We have Awakening. It's not Awakening. I don't know what the name is, but we're getting set 5.
Set 5.
All right. We have reveals for V-Clan selection going through. We still have a few more coming in. Next week, we get the Steam main stuff, so we will be talking about that, and I'm very excited about that. And onward, we have no idea. We need to wait for another product stream. We do have some collab stuff, which we're probably not going to cover much in the podcast because we're not trying to be elitist, but the cards in the collab stuff don't seem to really like synergize afterwards into good tournament play. So there's not really good talk there with like meta-analyzing. Is this card going to be changing how things are? A good example where we're kind of coming from is the Token Rambo stuff. They're not very good.
At least Token Rambo was a little bit more interesting, though, because they had premium stuff.
Yes. And I do agree that the collab of Token Rambo can stay if they make premium stuff for it, which they didn't.
They did.
So there's no point of keeping it around.
It doesn't make sense to me that they're doing all these new collabs.
Yes.
But they're not making it to where the decks are playable, especially with them not having past support.
And some are really like messy too. Like they're doing both set 1 and set 2 of Shaman King for us at the same time in the same case. So like you're not guaranteed everything. It's almost going to be like a release series 1.5 for Digimon. It's not worth it.
I don't see what they were thinking with that.
They were trying to get it approved and then release it, but like honestly, it's not going to really help us at the end.
Yeah.
There is collab sets that are doing well in Japan. The Monster Strike set is still like brought back because it's pretty much you're playing a gacha game within the deck, and it's because of that it keeps it good because you're playing like a game of luck within a game of luck.
It's always interesting though. You can't really count these new decks out yet until they do hit English, because we always find a way to break decks.
Yes.
So we can't completely count it out until we find a way to see if it's good or not.
Yeah.
But so far, it doesn't look like there's too much coming from those sets.
No, it's slowly like dying out and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we do have a lot more sets coming in. We are going to be talking about them, and we're going to have new topics to talk to you about. If we find something very cool, we'll talk about it in the dojo, and we have those options available. Now, I am Naru Samurai. I did tell you before, if you go to Naru Samurai Gaming, you can check out a good chunk of deck lists for premium. We will have standard up soon. It was in the works. It was on hiatus, but we're coming back to it, and we're going to have the decks up available at soon as can be. Give it like a month or like 3 weeks. with the Ramada event and things going on, I am preparing the streams for Kingslayer cards. So there's a lot of projects in the works. Now, I know I said 3 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, that I will be putting up more YouTube videos. I actually am working on recording stuff, and I'll start putting out maybe trailers within the coming weeks. I just need to get back into editing, and honestly, one of my biggest things is editing a new computer that's coming in. It's been taking a while, but I will be receiving it next week, so we'll be on it. And other than that, do stick around. Check out the YouTube channel. Everything is Naru Samurai, so Twitter Naru Samurai, YouTube Naru Samurai. And do check out their channel. They are starting up a channel, Team Eclipse, or Eclipse Vanguard, one of the two names. Do you know what the name is, Nick?
It's going to be Eclipse Vanguard.
Eclipse Vanguard. Follow them. They are starting their own thing. They have mostly raw footage, but we're going to get some editing in there eventually. I'm looking at Connor over here because he's about to be trained in the ways of Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming by. Hope to see you next time in the dojo. Peace, guys.
Thanks for watching The Dojo. If you would like to see more card fight content like this, make sure to catch The Dojo and Naru Samurai on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Spotify, and Apple Podcast.